The world is paused for just this afternoon. Or maybe I'm the one who's pressed pause here, while everyone else rushes toward their soon. I'm savoring this moment crystal clear. My coffee's cooled to perfect drinking temp. The cafe's mostly empty at this hour. That in-between time, neither here nor then, when solitude becomes a kind of power. Not loneliness, not isolation's ache, but chosen quiet, welcomed empty space. The gift of time that's only mine to take. This afternoon that moves at my own pace. I watch the light change slowly on the wall, from bright to softer golden, getting low, marking time without urgency at all, just letting minutes peacefully flow. There's luxury in having nowhere else to be but here with just myself, accompany. No obligations tugging at my shelves of time, no expectations pulling me. That being alone is not the same as lonely. That quiet doesn't mean there's something wrong. That sometimes best companions are the only thoughts inside your head, your private song. I used to fear these empty hours alone. I used to fill them up with noise and doing. But I've learned that in the silence I have grown more comfortable with my own company's viewing. Not loneliness, not isolation's ache, but chosen quiet, welcomed empty space. The gift of time that's only mine to take. This afternoon that moves at my own pace. To hear our own voice in the crowded room of consciousness where many voices speak. To find our own thoughts through the din and boom of modern life that doesn't let us seek. But here in this cafe this afternoon, with just my coffee and my thoughts for friends, I'm learning how to be content with soon becoming now, with means becoming ends. The afternoon continues its slow dance. The sun keeps tracking lower in the sky. I sit and watch and give myself the chance to simply be without asking why. Sometimes just sitting still is just as good as all the battles that we think we've waged against time and against the ticking clock that tells us there's no time to waste on sitting. So I'll finish this last sip of coffee cold and gather up my things to face the world. But I'll remember what this afternoon has told me about solitude and flags unfurled. was reading, but I've stopped mid-sentence here. My eyes have lifted from the printed page. My mind has wandered somewhere, disappeared into some thought that wasn't on this stage. My coffee sits forgotten for a moment, while I drift in some space that's neither here nor there, some in between, space of reading and of thinking. This is why I love the act of reading. This is why I love the act of reading. Not just for the stories that books tell, but for the space between the gentle seeding of my own thoughts. I mark my place and set the book aside. Take a sip of coffee, somewhat cold, and let my mind continue on its ride through territories both new and old, like flowers growing between the cracks, finding their own way toward light. That's what thoughts do when we give them space in this in-between place. So I sit here with my book and with my thoughts, both equally important to me now, taking in the lessons that I'm taught by others' words and by my own mind. So I'll return to reading in a minute, but first I'll honor this brief wandering, this space between where thoughts take wing. I was reading, but I've stopped mid-sentence here. My eyes have lifted from the printed page. My mind has wandered somewhere, disappeared into some thought that wasn't on this stage. My coffee sits forgotten for a moment, while I drift in some space that's neither here nor there, some in between, space of reading and of thinking. This is why I love the act of reading, not just for the stories that books tell, but for the space between the gentle seeding of my own thoughts. I mark my take a sip of coffee, somewhat cold, and let my mind continue on its ride through territories both new and old, like flowers growing between the cracks, finding their own way toward light. That's what thoughts do when we give them space in this in-between place. So I sit here with my book and with my thoughts, both equally important to me now, taking in the lessons that I'm taught by others' words and by my own mind. So I'll return to reading in a minute, but first I'll honor this brief wandering, this space between where thoughts take wing. One sip and I'm transported back in time to grandmother's kitchen, Sunday morning light, the smell of coffee mixed with bells that chime. These moments preserved like amber from the past. Another sip, another memory rises. My first apartment, morning coffee alone, learning to be adult surprises, the taste of freedom mixed with loneliness. Coffee brings back all these gentle memories, not to haunt, but to comfort, to remind us who we were and how we got here, the story of our lives in every sip. Another memory, coffee with a friend who's no longer in my life, but in these thoughts comes back to visit. And I can't pretend that time hasn't brought the distance. Coffee brings back my mother's morning routine, the sound of percolator filling in the house, these sensory memories keeping her forever young in my mind. We carry them all with us everywhere, in every sip, every breath. These gentle visitations, memories wake to comfort us. These coffee-scented memories that feed our present understanding, showing us that we're continuous, one long story, carrying all our history with us. Coffee brings back all these gentle memories, not to haunt, but to comfort, to remind us who we were and how we got here. The story of our lives in every sip. So here's to coffee and to memory both, to gentle visitations from the past, to honoring our journey's growth in every sip we take. Sit across from each other here, with coffee cups and quiet in between, the kind of silence that only comes with years of knowing someone. Friendship that not just survives, but deepens like a river that just grows, more peaceful as it widens, slows its pace, taking time with gentle curiosity. We don't need to fill every space with words. We've learned to let the quiet speak, content with silence that is not absence, but fullness, being here together. The coffee shop around us hums and breathes, but we sit in our own rhythm. You sip your coffee, I sip mine, and this moment is fine just as it is. Real friendship lives in the spaces, in the silences and pauses, in all the places where it can't be seen, but only felt. We've known each other long enough to know that friendship isn't constant contact. Sometimes it's the steady knowing that the other's there, even in silence, like birds upon a wire. Just being near each other, that's enough. This comfortable quiet, this shared space. page is blank, the pen is in my hand. The morning waits for words I haven't found. My coffee sits beside me as I plan to let whatever's in me spill without a sound. No one will read these honest, messy lines, these thoughts that tumble out before the day, before I put on all the careful signs of someone who has got it all their way. Here in this notebook I can be completely true. No performance, no pretending to be fine. Just me and thoughts I'm finally letting through. Just me and coffee and these morning lines. The pen moves slowly, then picks up its pace, as if my hand knows things my mind does not. Words appear and fill this paper space, untangling feelings that had gotten caught. There's something sacred in this morning rite of spilling truth before the world wakes up, of writing in the soft and gentle light while steam still rises from my coffee cup. Some days I write of dreams I had last night. Some days I write of worries keeping me awake. Some days I write of things that don't feel right, and somehow writing helps those feelings break into smaller pieces I can understand, into words that help me see what's really there. This pen and paper and my moving hand, creating space where I can breathe clearer air. Here in this notebook I can be completely true. No performance, no pretending to be fine. Just me and thoughts I'm finally letting through. Just me and coffee and these morning lines. The morning pages know me better than most people in my life will ever know. They hold the parts of me I sometimes ban from showing in the daily ebb and flow. And when I finally put my pen away and close the notebook, setting thoughts to rest, I feel more ready now to face the day, having given voice to what was unexpressed. So here I am again as morning breaks, writing down whatever needs to come, for my own sake and for my own sake's sake, finding my own rhythm like a drum. Dust motes dance in afternoon light beams between the stacks of stories lined in rows. This bookshop corner holds holds 1,000 dreams in pages that smell like time everyone knows. My coffee cup sits balanced on old wood, a table worn by years of other hands, who sat here just the way that now I should, reading worlds from different times and lands. The smell of aging paper fills the air, mixed with roasted coffee, earthy deep, creating an atmosphere beyond compare, a sanctuary where memories keep. Leather spines and broken spines, and some still crisp and new, await exploring eyes. This place exists outside of time, become a portal to 100 different skies. I pull a volume from the shelf at random. Its cover soft and faded green with age. The story that I'm holding in my hand could take me anywhere from page to page. But for now I'm happy sitting here, not reading but just being in this space, where words have weight and thoughts become more clear, where rushing slows down to a gentler pace. That books are more than stories, more than words. They're doorways and they're mirrors and they're friends. They're flights of fancy wisdom overheard. They're journeys with no rush to reach the ends. The smell of aging paper fills the air, mixed with roasted coffee, earthy deep, creating an atmosphere beyond compare, a sanctuary where memories keep. A cat sleeps on the counter in a curl, oblivious to all these tales and dreams, while outside in the ordinary world, things are never quite as calm as here it seems. The afternoon light shifts across the floor, creating shadows, highlighting dust. I hear the gentle chime above the door, as someone else comes in, a book lover's trust. We seek in pages what we seek in life, some meaning, some connection, some relief, from loneliness or worry or the strife that comes with being human, comes with grief. So I'll sit a little longer in this spot, among the stories waiting to be read, Grateful for this quiet that I've caught, for coffee and for words both living and long dead.
Dust motes dance in afternoon light beams between the stacks of stories lined in rows. This bookshop corner holds 1,000 dreams in pages that smell like time everyone knows. My coffee cup sits balanced on old wood, a table worn by years of other hands, who sat here just the way that now I should, reading worlds from different times and lands. The smell of aging paper fills the air, mixed with roasted coffee, earthly deep, creating an atmosphere beyond compare, a sanctuary where memories keep. Leather spines and broken spines, and some still crisp and new, await exploring eyes. This place exists outside of time, become a portal to 100 different skies. I pull a volume from the shelf at random, its cover soft and faded green with age. The story that I'm holding in my hand could take me anywhere from page to page. But for now I'm happy sitting here, not reading but just being in this space, where words have weight and thoughts become more clear, where rushing slows down to a gentler pace, that books are more than stories, more than words. They're doorways and they're mirrors and they're friends. They're flights of fancy wisdom overheard. They're journeys with no rush to reach the ends. The smell of aging paper fills the air, mixed with roasted coffee, earthy deep, creating an atmosphere beyond compare, a sanctuary where memories keep. A cat sleeps on the counter in a curl, oblivious to all these tales and dreams, while outside in the ordinary world, things are never quite as calm as here it seems. The afternoon light shifts across the floor, creating shadows, highlighting dust. I hear the gentle chime above the door as someone else comes in, a book lover's trust. We seek in pages what we seek in life, some meaning, some connection, some relief, from loneliness or worry or the strife that comes with being human, comes with grief. So I'll sit a little longer in this spot, among the stories waiting to be read. Grateful for this quiet that I've caught, for coffee and for words both living and long dead. I still come back to this corner table, though years have passed since that June afternoon when she sat here reading. I was able to gather courage, introduce myself too soon. We talked for hours until closing time, about books and coffee and everything small. That summer felt suspended, almost sublime. 3 months of mornings before she left that fall. She said she'd write, but people rarely do. Life moves forward, paths diverge and bend. I understood, I think she did too. Some things are perfect because they end. Sometimes I wonder where she is today, if she remembers this cafe at all, or if I'm just someone along the way who briefly mattered one summer, that's all. I don't come here to be sad or to wish things were different than they are, just to remember what we had, brief and bright as any falling star. The cafe's changed, new owner, different menu, but this corner still holds that summer light. Some memories stay exactly where you left them, preserved in place, frozen just right. She said she'd write, but people rarely do. Life moves forward, paths diverge and bend. I understood, I think she did too. Some things are perfect because they end. Once upon a summer in this place, I knew someone I'll never know again. And that's okay, there's grace in brief encounters in the wind.
Rain traces patterns down the window glass. Strangers hurry by with umbrellas raised, while I sit warm inside and watch them pass, grateful for the shelter where I've stayed. My coffee steams, the cafe hums around, but softly like a lullaby half sung. Rain creates its own persistent sound, a rhythm older than any language tongue. There's something perfect about being here, inside while weather does its ancient dance, safe and warm and holding something dear. This moment captured almost by pure chance. The window frames the world like art today. Everything looks softer through the rain. Colors blur and blend in their own way. The streets become a watercolor stain. I watch a couple running, laughing wet, a dog that shakes and sprays in all directions. These small scenes I know I won't forget, filed away in memories collections. Rain always makes me contemplate it, slows me down to match its steady beat, makes me think about the life I live from this quiet corner, this window seat. People watching through a rainy pane, each person with their own unfolding story, moving through the silver sheets of rain, each in their own quest for love or glory. There's something perfect about being here, inside while weather does its ancient dance, safe and warm and holding something dear. this moment captured almost by pure chance. The window fogs a little from my breath. I draw a small heart in the misty glass, then watch it fade, accepting this small death of something simple that was made to pass. That's what rain teaches if we let it in, that everything is temporary flowing, that endings and beginnings both begin with letting go and allowing and just knowing. My coffee cup is empty now but warm. I order one more just to stay a while, protected from the outside by this storm, wrapped in this cozy refuge, gentle style. Let others rush through puddles, chase their plans. I found contentment in this simple scene. Rain on windows, coffee in my hands, and the quiet space that stretches in between. Steam rises from my cup in silver threads, dancing patterns that exist and then they're gone, like thoughts that surface briefly in my head before they fade into the morning dawn. I watch the spiral curl and disappear, a temporary sculpture made of heat. These fleeting moments that we hold so dear, before the day demands we find our feet. There's wisdom in this rising, fading steam, teaching me that nothing has to last, that beauty lives in the ephemeral dream, not in the holding, but the letting pass. The coffee cools as I sit here and stare at this small miracle of warmth and air, finding peace in watching something fade, accepting what cannot be saved or stayed. Minutes stretch like honey in this space, no urgency, no need to rush ahead, just me and steam in this unhurried pace, just simple thoughts and words left mostly unsaid. Outside can wait a little longer, Sometimes soft is actually much stronger than rigid things that fear to let things go. Each curl of steam, a little meditation. Each rise and fall, a gentle teacher here, showing me the art of liberation in watching beauty briefly then disappear. There's wisdom in this rising, fading steam, teaching me that nothing has to last. That beauty lives in the ephemeral dream, not in the holding, but the letting pass. I cup my hands around this ceramic warmth, finding comfort in such simple, honest things. The steam keeps rising like a prayer sent forth, teaching me what quiet morning brings. And when the steam has finally disappeared, and all that's left is liquid in my cup, I find that something in me has been cleared. Some gentle space has quietly opened up. She comes in Tuesdays, always around 3. Orders the same thing, sits by the window. We've never spoken, but I think she sees me here as well. This quiet tableau. Sometimes our eyes meet across the room, a small nod, a brief acknowledgement, then back to our books, our separate cocoons. This ritual neither of us will comment. We're strangers who aren't strangers anymore. Familiar faces in familiar places, never crossing that unspoken door. Content with these comfortable spaces, I wonder about her life, what brings her here, what she's reading, what she's thinking about. But asking feels like it would interfere with this perfect silence we figured out. Maybe she wonders about me too, or maybe I'm just another a Tuesday afternoon view, another fixture in this place. There's something precious in this arrangement, this connection that asks for nothing more than presence, than this quiet estrangement that's somehow intimate at its core. We're strangers who aren't strangers anymore, familiar faces in familiar places, never crossing that unspoken door, content with these comfortable spaces. She'll be here next Tuesday, I suppose, and I'll be here too, both of us knowing that some connections are perfect in repose. Some stories are better left unshowing. This cup fits perfectly between my palms. The heat seeps through the ceramic to my skin. A simple comfort, one of morning's calms, that slowly warms me from without within. I wrap my hands around this vessel's curve, feeling temperature and texture both at once. This ritual that helps my day observe, a gentle starting point, not rush or stunts. The warmth spreads through my fingers to my wrists, travels up my arms like gentle sunlight does. These small sensations that we often miss when moving fast, not noticing what was. Always there, these tiny tender mercies, these moments of physical comfort, small but meaningful, like rain that waters thirsty gardens. These small gestures feeding all our need for warmth and holding and connection, even when we're holding just a cup. There's something in this simple, sweet affection for objects that can warm us, lift us up. I think about the hands that made this mug, the potter at their wheel, the spinning clay, taking shapeless earth and from it dug this vessel that now brightens up my day. for my drink. And now it's mine, and morning's light filters through the window while I sit here, pause and think about connection through the things we touch, the objects that become part of our days. How sometimes it doesn't really take much to find contentment in these simple ways. This warm ceramic cup that holds my coffee holds also this quiet moment's grace. Reminds me not to live entirely off of the big events, but find in small things space for gratitude and presence and attention to what is here and what is now and real. This cup deserves a loving mention for all the comfort that I daily feel when wrapping cold hands around its warmth, when bringing it close to breathe the steam, when using it to anchor to the north of present moment, not just drift and dream. The coffee will eventually cool down, the cup will empty and be washed and dried, but this moment deserves its own crown. This simple pleasure that I've spied in the dailiness of morning's routine, in the ordinariness of every day. There's something profound that can be seen if we just slow down enough to stay with what is here, like this cup in hand, like coffee's warmth, like ceramic's embrace, finding in the simple things and recognizing beauty face to face. So here's to coffee cups and morning slow, to warmth between our palms and quiet time, to simple joys that money cannot know, to finding in the mundane the sublime. This warm ceramic cup, this daily friend that asks for nothing but to serve its role, reminds me that contentment doesn't depend on grand gestures, but on daily small and whole moments strung together like a prayer of gratitude for ordinary things, for cups that warm our hands and